I'll still be here when you're gone. You gather souvenirs, but I will never be your pawn. Your pawn. Your pawn. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. You can double down. I'll still be a proud haven for your love is never love. A river through your bluff, I will be enough, enough, enough. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. Something you can never take, but it's not uncommon to forsake. Got a chronic urge to complicate. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. Feeling I have nothing left to hide. I'll say what you know it when it's right. Keep it simple now, living it before I die. Think of love like a friend, not an enemy. My love wasn't ever a game. I lay my cards out on the table. There's nothing to gamble away. But I can promise that you'll never be the same. But I can promise that you'll never be the same.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to tonight's live stream. We are live tonight answering your questions all about game dev, Unreal Engine, or anything else you want to ask in between. Totally up to you what you want to ask. All you got to do is put your question into chat, and we'll try and grab as many questions as we can whilst we are live. Hello, everyone who is watching us in chat right now. Hello over on Twitch as well as YouTube. If you are watching on YouTube, say hi. If you're on Twitch, say hi. How is everyone doing? All good, I trust and hope and wish them well. Oh, excellent. Thank you, Charlone. Charlone, I hope I've pronounced that right. Thank you for joining our Patreon. If you want to support the channel as well, head over to Patreon. You get access to all of our content early, plus a load of other benefits too, especially based on the higher tiers. So definitely check it out if you want extra support in your game dev journey. So hello, everyone. How you doing? Hi, Charlone. Hi, Iron Thumbs. Good to see you again. Hi, TH Game Dev. Good to see you. Hi, Athenian. You can watch now on YouTube or Twitch. It's totally up to you. I'm very well, thank you. It's been a busy week. Lots of stuff going on. Lots of just lots of stuff. We've been doing all sorts of things. The podcast was last night. Hopefully everyone checked it out and enjoyed the clips of me and Bill chatting nonsense. Good to see you all. So yeah, the way this works is all you do is put your question into chat. And if I do miss your question, it's not anything against you. Just I might have missed it. So just put it back into chat again without hopefully spamming it. Yeah, you always look tired. Yeah, I'm always tired. I'm always tired. Yeah. The joys of being a game dev, a father, and a crazy person who does a load of other stuff too. Like making your own game and working at other people's games and making other things for people. Long hours, but it's all good. Some exciting things in the pipeline to share with people soon. Yeah, but yeah, it's all going well over here. I've been messing around with Unreal myself lately. I've been doing things like experimenting optimizations of getting as many characters on the screen at once. So do like hordes type stuff. Using some trickery, made it look like there's about 1,000 characters on the screen at once. So getting there. There's a few more things I want to try and do to improve it still. But yeah, and once I've got happy with it, I'll make a video about it. Have you tried Mass Entity? Yes. It's a bit limiting because of what I want it to be able to achieve and do. Because I still want them to chase you and attack you and things like that. So it's a little bit different. We might use a combination of it though at some point. I don't know. It depends on where we go. Yeah. Is it possible to make graphics like Megabonk has from Peter Day? Yeah, we can go through that. TH Game Dev, is there a way to switch between cameras with pawns if they have the gameplay camera? Should make a nice blend. I think I need to use it on the controller, but would love help. Yeah, sure. Okay. So let's go for the game dev one. Is there a way to switch between cameras with pawns if they have the new gameplay camera? Oh, I actually haven't got the new gameplay camera in here. And I haven't messed around with it, so I don't know. I imagine it would be the same as always. I've never tried. I haven't messed about with it at all. Is it even enabled by default? It is on. I've never used it. It's been a bit slow. Oh my god, what's going on? Internet has been iffy lately, so we may crash out, we may not, I don't know. Zoom crashed out like 1 billion times today for me, which was a frustrating experience. Oh my god, Unreal, just wanted to look at the plugins list. Jesus. Hopefully the live stream's still going. I can't tell. I hope it is. Be frustrating if it wasn't. Yeah, it's not just me then. Oh, that's good to hear. Yeah, it's just been really weird lately. Yeah, I'll have to look into it. TH. Tackle that one another time, probably in a video. Okay. Yeah, so Megabonk graphics. So if you guys don't know what Megabonk is, because not everyone does, Megabonk is like Vampire Survivors, but 3D. And it has this sort of retro sort of look to it. Now, a lot of the artwork you see here, a lot of the styling that's going on here, it's just basically lower resolution. Textures, low resolution, models, low resolution, everything. That you have to just make yourself. But you can pixelate your own graphics if you want, as a cool technique, if you want to do that. So we can go through that. They're also using some sort of like outliner to outline elements to this as well, to add some pop to it. But yeah, it's just most of the work is done by the models and textures. But we can still do various things with this. So if you want to go with that pixelated look, hang on, let me close that. There we go. We'll make a post-process. Pixelated. And we want to make this a post-process material. Get our scene texture node. Change that post-process input 0. So you get the scene as it was. And the thing you're messing about with in here is the UVs. Okay, so in here, what we're doing is basically we want to take the UV coordinates. So we'll do, I don't know what that actually use. Would it use it? I can't remember if it uses this one or not. Yeah, it must do. So if you don't know what the UV looks like, it looks like this. We need to make this pixelated. So what you can do here is you multiply it by, I don't know, 10, for example, and then round it and then divide it by 10. And you get this sort of blocky look. And you can plug that into your UVs and you get a pixelated effect. And so all you have to do, if you want to change the strength of the pixelation, is change this value of 10. So I'll put that into there, and change it to 100. We get that sort of pixelation. And this is just a very basic bit. Obviously, there's more you can do with it. So if we go like 480, so classic CRT looking thing, we've got this sort of low resolution post-process effect. If you want to make it look like that. And you can also do the same for your textures, so bring all your textures down to a lower resolution as well. But yeah, you just play with that. That's a very quick, easy way of doing pixelation, like low res effects. Yeah. So you usually combine this with other things. So if you want to do an outliner, for example, you do an outliner. There's numerous ways of doing it. The most quickest way is using blur sample offsets. It's not the best way. I'm working on a video for the best way, but it does the job. So yeah, scene texture. No, what am I gonna do? Yeah, scene texture. What I'm doing. Then we want the scene depth. And then, add. And we also then need the screen position. Take the UV. Plug that all in there. Plug that all in there. Chuck that all in there. Then you add all these together. I won't go into too much detail about explaining how all this works. I've done it a few times now, but it basically looks at the depth difference between pixels around the pixel you're looking at. Divide that by 4, because there's 4 of them. And then we subtract that from that. And if I put that in there for now, you get that outline effect. So you lerp it, with that being in the alpha. If it's 0, the black part, we're going to use the pixelated effect. If it's B, we can use the black effect. So just do black. Oh, it needs to be a 4 vector, sorry. Okay, and you get this sort of gradient effect when this is not clamped. So we need to clamp this between 0 and 1. And you get that effect. And you get like a weird smooth outline, but with pixelated in-betweens. And you can make it thicker by changing the blur offset here to like 2, 3, 4. It's not the best one to use because you do get these weird issues where it struggles with intersections, but it does the job pretty well. If you want this to happen as part of the pixelation effect as well, you need to pixelate it. You need to do that with do what we've done here, but with the screen position UVs as what instead. So that'll go into there, into there. You can get this weird pixelated effect if you wanted to. Probably use a different resolution for that. So you can make some pretty interesting effects using that little banding technique. Yeah, you can make interesting pixel art shaders. Okay. Okay, next question. Rahul Bose, are gameplay tags really necessary, or are booleans okay for general use? Booleans are okay for general use, for sure. The moment it becomes problematic is when you start having a lot of them for various things. And you can kind of imagine like the more efficient way, and that efficient way is the gameplay tags. So I've got something like that. Why is it flickering? Just because the way the screen's rendering at a different resolution. It's not, I say, it's not the best way of doing it. It's a much longer way of doing it if you want to do it the other way. But yeah. Oh my god, I can't see a thing. Next question. X4 Lovey Gaming. Question, please. In a top-down game, I have multiple different trees with multiple materials with character walks behind it. I can't see them, and it's a bit long process to make them transparent smoothly. I'm guessing you're asking, is there a way to do that? Yes. So you can use something like a general post-process stenciling effect. So let me just bring in third-person blueprints. I can show you this stuff. Third person. Go to third-person map. Okay, so let's make a post-process effect in here. Occluder, we'll call it. That's not how you spell that, but never mind. Then we go into post-process, scene texture, and change that to post-process input 0, like so. So this is the default we want to have, but we also want to make use of custom scene depth and stenciling. So you can use custom depth or stenciling if you want to separate them out. It depends on what you're going to be using it for. If you're only going to have one thing, like the player, for example, you can just use custom scene depth. Be fine with that. Totally fine in that case. But ultimately what you got to do is we're going to lerp between the custom depth. So use this as a clamp between 0 and 1. Lerp that into there. That'll be the alpha. 0 will be this one. And then A will be, it might be the other way around. I can't recall now. And then the other one would be your color that you want to do. So let's say we're going to do black, for example. Oh, every time. Yeah. I think it's the other way around. Oh no, sorry. We have to take, my bad. We have to, let me explain and show how that works. So let's say this is the player character, right? We go to its rendering, and let's tell it to be a custom depth render. So it still renders in the main pass, like fine, but it also renders in the custom depth visualization as well. So if I go to custom depth here, you can see how it's rendering this custom depth here, right? So I want to take that value and use this as a sort of stencil. That's what we're doing here. And I'm saying with that stencil, make this, use this instead. So let me plug that into lit mode for now. There's other stuff we've got to do yet. Material, add asset reference, and we'll use the occluder. Okay, so we need to change what's rendering on the front of that. So basically, we got this custom depth clamp going on here. I need to take that away from the scene depth. So you get basically make a hole. So I guess I could just do this. Subtract that from that. Let me put that in there for a second. Yeah, so you get this sort of effect. Okay, so it's like that. Yeah, and if you clamp that, then you could put that into here, and it will then highlight that block as black. Okay, so make a little hole, basically. Now, we want it to show in through the material. Okay, so this is rendering a value. This is rendering a value. I basically want to say, if this is rendering a larger value than this value, I want to draw that on top. So we take the custom depth here, and we say, if this is greater than... Oh, wait. What would be the best way of doing this? Mask. That'd be the best way of doing that. Oh, I forgot. If. Going mad. Now go into there. And then that will go into... there. Ooh. Oh, wrong way. Okay. No, I'm forgetting something. What am I missing up? I'm messing something up. What am I doing? If the scene depth value is greater than, I want to use this value. I've done videos on it, but I can't recall what I did now. Going crazy. Value 100. Oh, it's going to be 50. That'll be smaller than, so I want to use 1, which would be black. Oh no, I want to use, if it is greater than that, I'll use that and that. Okay. I'm going blank. How did I do this before? It's a common thing you do, just I ain't done it for a long time. I think it's alert. It might be add onto it. or multiply. Same problem. Forgot how you do this. Custom depth is always rendering, isn't it? I'm not going mad with that. Custom depth. Yeah, so that's always rendering there. Scene depth is there. I'm going to take the custom depth. I think I need to clamp these first. Clamp that. Give it another second. Clamp this. This, subtract. No. Other way around. That, subtract that. Go into there, that'll go into there. Scene depth, subtract the custom depth. Clamped. Subtract. Scene depth. Is it a weird thing where scene depth actually counts as 1 when it's really large? Is that a thing that happened? I can't remember now. Yeah. Yeah, it is. Okay. That was the issue. It's not zero. The black isn't 0. It's something crazier. It's null, so it goes to 1. So when you put that in there, it's just taking away each other. Going mad. Determined not to look back at my own videos. Should subtract. I don't get why it wouldn't subtract. Is it just because of a weird thing where custom depth renders it? Maybe I'd have to use stencils. Let's try it with stencils. Yeah, stencil 1 and custom depth here with stencil. Where are you? There you are. And I need to mask that. If that is greater than 0, it'll use that. If it's less than that, it'll use that. Ooh. Oh, going mad. Is stencils actually working? That's a question. Stencil. No. Oh, yeah, it's enable it in plugins, project settings, sorry. Type in word stencil. Enabled with stencil. There we go. Okay. So custom stencil, that should be fine if I just put that in there. Why is that not rendering that? Zero. If I put in 1 there, make it equal to 1. Anything else would be black. Yeah, like that. There we go. Okay, so yeah, stencil, when it's equal to the value, we'll make it 1. Which would be our color. No, we use black in this case. Everything else, rather than that, is going to be using our post-process input 0. Like that. There you go. Yeah. Okay, so it's always rendering that sort of color now. And then when you want to make it filter which one to use, that's when you use the custom depth versus scene depth. Where is it? Scene depth here. We'll say if the scene depth is masked, first of all. And if and then we want custom depth in here. Where are you? Yeah. Mask. Like that. Yeah, if the custom depth is greater than the scene depth, or is equal to the scene depth, we want it to use the normal stuff. So greater than or equal to. If it's less than, I want to use the if here. Something like that, I think it is. Yeah, there you go. So now if it's behind an object, it renders out. So you put your player character in that sort of vein. So you go to character, mesh here, change the rendering of this to render in custom depth and stencil, value of 1. There we go. So the player character will now render behind objects like that. See? So if you've got a tree, for example, so we'll say this is our tree. Just make sure the tree doesn't block the collision of the collision of the spring arm. So on settings for physics, we change that from custom, and on I think it's using camera. We set it to overlap the camera. So this is your tree. Our character can now be seen behind the tree. Yeah, and you can do all sorts of things with that. So that's just a mask of how you get that. You would have that do different effects. So you may want it to like only be semi-transparent, or maybe you want it dithered, or I don't know, something like that. But it comes in 2 parts. You've got the first part, which is the mask, which gets you the stencil, and then you have the one that switches which one it should be rendering for each pixel based upon how its custom depth and the scene depth relate to each other. So if they're equal to each other and doing the same thing, then it'll be using the normal scene. Otherwise, it'll use the custom depth because it means it's behind it, because the value of its depth value is different. So yeah, you get things like that. Okay. If you have multiple, we don't want to be multiple players. You can change the color based upon the player as well. Obviously, I just done it black, but it could be whatever you like. Hell, you can even take like the object, the scene that you're doing. So rather than using that, I can use post process input 0 and have that desaturated, and have that as part of that instead. So rather than it going black, it goes black and white behind it. Yeah. You can also do other things like make the tree part of the stencil, and then you make that do to something different too if you want. But anyway, moving on. Let me go back up. Johannes, is it possible to do all the material shader and rendering per pixel of the texture if I have a 3D pixel art game? Is it possible to do all the material shader and rendering per pixel of the texture? Yes, you can. You can sample a pixel from any texture in the material node. I can't. Is it sample pixel? Is it? No. Wait, what one is it? Pixel. Sample. I swear it's sample something. What would it be called? I have seen it. I just can't remember what the bloody thing's called. Texture. Or maybe I'm thinking of it being in this thing. No, I can't remember what it's called. If I find it, I'll let you know. But next time. But I can't remember what the hell it's called. Sorry, I've got bloody itchy eye. Have I got any anti-histamine? No. No, I'm suffering whilst we are here. Never mind. Yeah, no, I'll let you know if I find it. I've definitely seen it. I just can't recall for the life of me what it is. Sample 2D. Is that a thing you saw? Sample. No, that's different. That's a parameter you want to use. That's not. No, it's not that. No, I can't remember what it is. Next up, we got. Let me scroll up a little bit and pick one at random. Steezy G. Hi Ryan, thank you for helpful content. Can you explain how one might adjust a sound effect of a player footstep for different ground materials, i.e., tile, grass, puddles? Yes. So let's first of all set up some different tiles. Let's bring in plane here. And another plane. Actually, just put them in a row. Might make sense. Like that. Do I have a starter content? No. Okay, let me bring the starter content in. So I've got some materials for me. What's the best way to make an interaction system? G1X. So I've done it a few times. You may have seen it in a few of the series if you've gone through them. But you'll see there's you want to use like a usually it's a line trace or sphere trace of some kind, and then using interfaces to handle the interactions between different objects. Definitely shown in a few videos you can go back and have a look at. Okay, so materials. Let's bring those materials in. Let's do grass. Let's do metal. Oh, boy. And let's do wood. Okay. So the main thing is you have to a few things you have to set up. First of all, you have to set up the surface types. So in your project settings, if you type in surface, you've got surface types down here in physics. And it all says none. You define whatever ones you want. As you can have quite a lot of them. So here we'll have glass, metal, wood. Okay, you just go down, add whatever you want to add. Then, on the materials that you've used, you need to go ahead and apply that to the material. So on ground grass here, we're going to add a physics material to this, which I don't think has got one on it. Nope. So you need to make a physics material. So make that. No, physics material. Yep. Base PM, whatever. Actually, I'll just change that to like wood PM. We'll do another one. Grass PM. And metal PM. Whatever. And for each one of these, open them up. And in here, if you know what physics material is, basically you can set up how a material reacts to physics. So you can change how bouncy it is, how much friction it has, all those various things. But one thing that's part of this is the surface type. Somewhere. Oh, there it is. I'm going absolutely blind. Surface type. You change this to whatever one you want. So this is grass. Metal here. We'll change the metal. And wood. Would be wood. And then on your actual materials, you apply the physics material you want to use. So here we've got grass. This one. We'll give that the metal one. And then we've got wood. Like that. Okay, so that's one thing. The next thing is, as you're walking, you need to determine what's a footstep and what's not a footstep. So on our third-person character, actually go to the characters folder, anims, unarmed, and we want to go to the animation blueprint. And inside the walk animation, so, or run, whatever it's called, walk, run, walk, jog, what do they call it? Jog, there you go. Unarmed, jog, forwards, okay? I'll just do forwards for now. So you got these, they use these sinkers here, but we can also add in here a new notify track to line up skeleton notifiers. So if we go to add notify, you'll see those skeleton notifiers. Yours may be empty. If it is, you can just add them by going new notifier. But as you can see, I've already got them here, so I might as well use them. So that's right foot. And that is left foot. Right foot. Left foot. Okay. So you do that for all the walking ones. Then you go to your event graph and add the notify event for this. So that'd be L plant notify. There you go. So this event's going to fire every time it does this. So every time it fires, we need to get the surface type from the floor by doing a line trace down. So we'll do a line trace by channel. And we want to get the skeleton of this. So we're going to do get owning component. That'll give you the skeleton mesh. What type is this? Go away. Yeah. Get socket by name. And we'll get the location of it. This is the L foot. So we do foot L. Start location. I'll tell you what we'll do. We'll just add to it here. We'll do a little bit above the foot. And then a little bit below the foot. Whee. There you go. So you do that for each foot. And on the out hit, you break this open. And part of the out hit result you'll see in here is going to be the physics material coming here. And then from the physics material, you can get the surface type from it. And now that's the enum. You know, you can use this to get the right audio clip you want to use. So you do play sound at location. And the sound is going to, or the location, we'll just do the hit location. Like that. But the sound will be selected based upon the enum. And you can do a select node here, we can do a function, whatever you like. But we do that. And I'll just do some basic ones in here. So we do camera shutter for grass. We'll do collapse. No, that'd be too long. Compile failed for metal. And for wood, we'll use enter simulate. Okay. So 3 different sound effects, basically. And I'll just do the left foot for now. On here. Hopefully this will come through. I don't know if it will or not. Is it not doing it? Break hit result. Oh, that might be because it's not valid. Hang on, we have to check it's valid first. It might be because it's louder. If it's playing the sound at location, you might want to play it at a volume multiplier here. We'll ramp it up a little bit. Can't tell if it's playing it or not. I'm not hearing it. Let's just whack it way up. Prepare to be deafened if it is going to work. What the hell? Let's make sure it's actually getting the right one. Let's print string. The surface type. Oh no, I know why. There's a thing you have to turn on. In the material. Was it return material and move? Can't remember now. No. What am I missing? Using quins and oh, maybe, yeah. Did I put on the wrong one? Is that what I did? Oh no, that was in quins. We're on quin. Pretty certain it's calling it. If I do the line trace here to draw debug for duration, we should see the little lines coming out. Yeah, there you go. See the little lines coming out? Although they're not hitting anything. Why are they not hitting it? Oh, there you go. Okay. I think I need to just improve the trace, I think. Let's do minus 30. I don't think it was going long enough into the ground. Yeah, there you go. Is it coming through? I don't know if it's coming through or not. I'm not too sure if you guys can hear that. Oh, hold on. Yes, it is. Okay, cool. It is coming through. Oh yeah, so I turned it way up. Sorry, I'm blowing at eardrums. Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's how it works, and this also works for landscapes as well. So if a landscape even blends it, you'll get the blend of the two as well. Wood is making noise. I think the grass one isn't for some reason. Yeah, oh, because I must have not changed its property. The grass will not saved it or something. Okay. So yeah, that's how that works. So you line trace down for each foot to get the surface type of each foot, and I say it works for landscapes too. When you start painting in the landscapes, yeah. Next up, we're seeing this with sound. Iron Thumbs can you show how about set up a sound attenuation class. Yep. So for those who don't know what a sound attenuation is, in if I go to sounds here, there you go. We'll put this fire on. So by default, this fire will just play using the default settings of attenuation. In this case, it has no attenuation by the looks of it. We can override attenuation per sound. So ticking that box, you can see the attenuation around it. Basically, it means if you're inside the small circle, it's as loud as it can ever be. If you're in between the small circle and big circle, it's going to fade in between. Okay. In this case, it'd be linear fall off. So it would just be a straight up line of how much it delineates. But you can actually set up, rather than overriding it, you can actually set up the class. This is very useful when you've got loads of sound and you need to make it all work the same way. So to make the attenuation class, you just go into the sound audio settings, sound attenuation. And it's the same settings you have on the details panel when you go to override, but in here. And there's a few other little tricks up its sleeve too. So here you've got different things. You change the shape of it if you want. Most of the time it's going to be sphere, but, you know, never know. And you can change the inner radius, outer radius, and things like that. Enables spatialization. What that means is basically it will work with surround sound. So it'll know which direction, which ear to play through based upon where you are with it. The air absorption is, as the name implies, how much it's going to be absorbed in the air. The other one that's really useful in here is occlusion. This determines how much the sound is affected by things that are blocking it, like walls, for example. So you make sound muffled behind walls. What you do is turn this on and just change the volume attenuation to how it's going to change there. And the filter is how much it's going to dull the sound. So the volume attenuation here, I'll bring down from 1 to 0.3. So I can show you that. And on this fire now, I can just set that attenuation sound effect onto it. And yeah, if I put up this wall here, like that. So we've got fire over here, but if I go behind the wall, it's quieter. Yeah. And you can mess around with the filtering to make it like dull the sound a bit as well. How you adjust it? Yeah, you just adjust the values based upon what you need it to be, how loud you want it to be, how far you want it to be. If you want it to be dead quiet behind walls, you can change it to 0, for example. Yeah, there's not much in it other than that. Hi, Ryan from Apo. How would you award a player a good item depending on their position, such as in Mario Kart, where the people at the back of the pack get the better items than the people at the front? The way I would approach that would be to have the weighting be calculated and adjusted based upon their position. So you've got a randomizer, and the randomizer is going to be weighted. So if you want to look at the weighted loot table video I've done, you can see an example of that. But rather than just getting the raw value, you want to, when you go to calculate it, you want to calculate what should be included based upon those values. And you adjust their weighting based upon your position. So when you go to hit it, if you're in last place, like the good ones will be weighted higher. And you can decide what's good by looking at maybe their tag or their values. You can also do different buckets of rewards as well. So if you're in behind, you're just bringing in a different loot table, essentially. That'd be probably the easiest way to do it. Is just look, if you're within this range of position, use this loot table. If you're in this position, use this loot table. That's probably the easiest way of doing it, actually. So have 2 different loot tables for it. Next up. Can you make a physical material to be different for different actors? Let's say sticky for a person, but a little bounce for a ball. Yeah, so weirdly enough, what you want to do is put it on not the surface, but the object that it's on. So if I want to make my character bouncy, I'll make a bouncy material. So, okay, physical material. And we'll do bouncy. And you turn the restitution way up, because that's the bouncy value. Okay. And you apply that to the override of your character or whatever object you want to have. So, to keep this simple, what I'm going to do is just put in a different object. Boom. And down here, you have the override for the fizz material. Material override. Bouncy. And this thing will now bounce. Well, I had to enable physics on it anyway. Yeah, bounce, bounce, bounce. Let's make it so it appears in front of me. Make it a bit easier to see. Okay. And let's say I want that to react differently. Like I want to make it sticky for this character. You're making this would be sticky. You just change the fizz override. And bear in mind, you can change the physical material in your override at any point in the blueprint code. So if your character transforms and make them made of rubber, you can make them now bouncy. That's not a problem at all with that. So I'll duplicate that, make that not bouncy at all. And give it that one. Yeah, very different behaviors. Even though bouncing on the same object. So the result is actually inside the actual actor. You just change override, but that can be just changed on anything. It can only be changed on components that are primitive components, so things that have collision. So if you're doing it on a character, for example, it would only work on the capsule collision and the mesh, for obvious reasons. But for the character, you probably want the capsule collision to have the physical material, like that. Well, I don't think it'll work with the character because the character doesn't really simulate physics, so it won't really work. I don't think. I'll just do that there, solid. Yeah, it won't work. You need a physics-based character to be able to do stuff like that. Yeah. Whee! Physics, fun. Yeah, so you could let it check if it's on the grass or hard floor, make it act different on those two for one actor. Yeah, you totally could. Just change it on the actual actor itself, make the actor bouncy actor. If you want the character to be sticky on it, just change their character to be sticky. There are different settings in here you can change as well, such as the override restitution combine mode. So what this means is when two bouncy things hit each other, by the default setting, it will average those two bouncy settings up. So if one is 0 and one's 1, it'll make the bouncy setting 0.5. This is why, even though this is set to 0, this still has a tiny bounce to it. It's because the default setting for restitution is 0.3. So it's bouncing by 0.15. But if I wanted it to, I could change it so the bouncy one here is not going to average it, but choose the maximum value. So now it'll bounce at 0.3, so it'll bounce a little bit more than it normally does. Okay? And that's because, again, this floor by default has a 0.3 bouncy restitution to it. So you can override things like that. You can also multiply it as well. So if this is set to 0 and that's set to 0.3, this will make it 0 overall. But obviously, if you multiply it and you put in that 0.3 each, it's going to double it, basically. Maybe not. Why am I not doing that? Did I do it wrong? Multiply 0.3, 0.3 by 0.3. Oh, yeah, it'll make it smaller. Of course. Yeah, okay. Makes sense. Yeah, if I change it to like 10, obviously, 1. Okay, don't really make much difference. So just average it out. Yeah, play a bit as you wish. You can change density of it. Yeah. Play about with it. Trying to think where else on here. Fiction, obviously. Same sort of deal with fiction. You've got a combine mode or whatever you want to do. Experiment with this. It'll be the solution you're looking for based upon what you're trying to do, probably. As I said, you can change it in code. So if you want to change the properties of the character, you can do. Or the object, you can do. But keep in mind, it only works for physics. It won't work for anything else. Last couple of questions. For any last couple of questions you may have. Let's have a look. Eduardo Pier Gentili, can I ask how to work with events in a level? Like after something happened, open a door. When a player passes through the door, change music. When a player reaches a point, play audio. How to direct that? That is your level blueprint. You can make actors to sort of handle a lot of that stuff, but if you want to do something specific to the level, you can totally do that in just a level blueprint. And it's set up with different triggers, and you can make your own triggers. Obviously, the game does come with engine does come with a couple already. One is the trigger volume here, which is just a volume that you walk over, and if you trigger it, it will trigger an event in there. So you go to your level blueprint and add event collision at the begin overlap, and so you can now trigger it to do stuff. Yeah, the point of the level blueprint is to handle that sort of specific direction stuff for the level. But again, you can make tools to make it a little bit friendlier for you to work on. So you may want to make your own trigger options in here. So you may want to, you can even do children of the trigger actor if you want, but you got, say, trigger base there. You can choose that, and then you can make your own trigger actor do different things. So here we can have the collision. So we do a sphere collision like that. And I can say a thing like, okay, this is going to be a timed one. Okay, so the variable here, we're going to have a timer. So it'll have a delay on it, maybe. Float. And this will be cool event, cool. No, I guess you just have to make your own event dispatcher. On event triggered. That's spelled all wrong. There you go. Yeah, an actor begin overlap. Other actor is equal to. Well, you don't have to do this. You can just make this and handle it elsewhere. By checking the character that walks into it if you want. So it works exactly the same as a normal trigger. On event triggered. Call that. There. And let's do a delay on it. So that'd be a timer. Set timer by event. Custom event. Triggered. Put that in there. And the timer there will be that. Yeah. So by default, I set that to like 2. So now I can use that as a triggered actor. Ooh. There it is. Okay, and if I... let's actually make it do something. So now I've got that selected, I can go to my level blueprint. Add an event for that. Collision, open default, sorry. Add event triggered. And I can do the checks I want to do in here. So I'll check if that's equal to the player character. And make it print hello, like that. There you go, hello. Okay. Okay, so you can make your own trigger actors, and you can make them as complex as you like. I've got some cool videos coming out soon about making use of custom versions of the existing actors. Like we're going to be showing how to make your own triggers for input actions and things like that. You can use the event from blueprint in sequence like simulate physics for object. Yes, you can. You can make it simulate physics immediately. So if, let's say you've got a level sequence. Okay, so this is not simulating physics, these two, by default. You can, if we make a level sequence, okay, yeah, whatever. And you want the event of the button here. We're going to add into our thing here. And you click on this, and you'll see you can bind the event. No, not event. What one is it? Should be able to do one. Oh no, sorry, it won't. Sorry, it won't trigger that. Yeah, that's different. So this, I'm getting. It's late. I'm sorry. It wouldn't be part of that. It would be. Hang on, let me get this right. You can use event from blueprint in sequence like simulate physics for object. So yeah, in this case, the object would be the actor, like the sphere. And if you want to simulate physics, you're going to have to add onto it the static mesh you want to use, which is that one. And then from there, go to physics. Somewhere. There's physics. Where's the simulate physics? Body instance, and then simulate physics, and you turn it on. So do that. Key that there. That'd be off there. Okay, so it'll turn on, and then you can trigger the sequence in your level blueprint. So on open level blueprint, when that triggers. We want reference to the level sequence. So where I'll put that, it is. Create reference to it. Play. So walk over it. It's gonna take a couple of seconds because it's timer based one. Oh, why am I doing that? Oh, it might be. Hang on. Simulate physics, and I want it to keep that. When finished, keep state. Oh. Yeah, it's fine. Hopefully I can't tell if I have or not. Oh. I think I triggered it multiple times there. But yeah, you can do things. Play cutscenes, play audio, play music, whatever you want to do. I've usually make my own things to trigger, so I'm not relying entirely on level blueprint, but it sort of how you put things together. Yeah. Like a director blueprint that constantly listens for events and direct what happens. Yeah, essentially that's what a level blueprint does. Okay. Quinn Main, what is your top tips for working on multiplayer games to make sure things interact with the correct player? Good question. So be methodical and patient with it. So I will usually get something working in single player, very basic version of it working in single player, and then I'd break it apart to make it work for a multiplayer scenario. So being and you want to get used to walking through it in your head about who is controlling what at any one point. Make yourself very aware of what the server can do and what the clients can't do. Yeah. If you can, try to relay anything that needs to communicate with the client back to the controllers. That's a way of easily communicating from the server to controller. And if you need to share anything with other players, you can do that with the player state stuff there. It depends on other things you can do with it. We're going to be doing some things with multiplayer soon. We're going to do another live webinar about multiplayer replication stuff, which will cover things like that. So keep an eye out for that. That'll be coming later on in the year. Hopefully in November. We'll see. November's looking pretty busy, so we'll find the time to do that. Yeah. Awaken Games. Yeah, sure. Hold on. When you run server RPC, then either rep notify or multicast after is replicating to an instance of yourself or the server's game to have an instance of the server on your game. So I'm trying to make sense of it. Sorry. When you run server RPC, then either rep notify or multicast after. Is it replicating to an instance of yourself on the server's game, or do you have an instance on the server on your game? It's just sending a command to your game, to your game's version of the actor to do whatever it needs to do. I think I'm trying to understand what you're asking, but I think that's what you're asking. It's replicating to your instance of your character, of the character or whatever it is you're doing, the actor. You don't have an instance of the server on your game. I don't know what you mean by that. You just have all remote stuff on your side. Drachmus, hello. I'm trying to get my character. This probably has to be the last question, unfortunately, everyone. I'm trying to get my character to do a workbench of sorts. There I have a chopping block and a knife. I want my character to be able to pick up both items, do an animation with them, and then place them back. Leave them there. How can I do that? So it'll probably be a level sequence of sorts. so you can animate it and put it into hands and things, and then rebasing the level sequence back to the root of it. That is going to take way too long for me to show how to do that on here. But if you want to see an example of something similar, if you go to my cinematic combat videos, I've done if it's 3-parter. It goes over how to make your level sequences play relative to where you are. So you design the animation and all the interactions and things like that at 0, 0 in a separate map, and then you can use it and tag your character into that place. Tried looking at those videos as inspiration. As I say, it would take too long to do to do now. Maybe I'll do like a video on how to do that down the line as an interesting solution to that. But yeah, thank you very much everyone for joining me tonight and asking your questions. We'll be back again next Wednesday, hopefully. We're also back on Tuesday with podcasting with Bill again. So do come by and check that out. It's great fun. It's good to just chat and talk nonsense. Yeah. So thank you so much everyone for your support. If you want to support the channel further and get access to all our content early, you can head over to patreon.com/Ryan Lely. There's also currently a voucher coupon code for any sessions. So if you want a session and you want to get private sessions with me, you can go on my website and book any sort of bundle or whatever and get 20% off when you use the code birthday, because last week was my birthday and it's the channel's birthday and tomorrow is my anniversary, wedding anniversary that is. So it's all birthdays all around. So yeah, do check it out and head over to the website and use a code birthday for 20% off. Thank you very much everyone. Take care, have a great evening, and I'll see you all next time. Bye everyone.